Hey Wildcats, today we're looking at journal page 12, graphing relationships. Some graphs that represent real-world situations are drawn without any interruptions. In other words, they are continuous graphs. A continuous graph is a graph that is made up of connected lines or curves. Another type of graph is not continuous. They are made up of distinct, unconnected points. This graph is a discrete graph. Here is an example of a continuous graph, and here is an example of a discrete graph. All right, let's take a look at the next page. All right. Two children are selling lemonades that are charging $1 a cup. They only sell one cup. Is the graph represent situation discrete or continuous? All right. So if we look at this with a table, we have number of cups and the money. Okay. Well, if you sell 0 cups, you make $0. If you sell 1 cup, you make $1. So 2 cups, $2. 3 cups, $3. Dot, 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 dot. All right. Now, you'll notice that you can only have a cup. You can't have a half a cup or a fourth a cup. So these are distinct points. That means it cannot be this graph and it cannot be this graph. It has to be a discrete graph. Okay. Now, the graph that it represents is this graph right here. Because as the number of cups increase, the money increases. All right, go ahead and finish up example 1. All right, example 2. A plane takes off and climbs steadily for 15 minutes until it reaches 25,000 feet. It travels at the altitude for 2 hours until it begins to descend to land, which takes 15 minutes at a constant rate. Is this graph continuous or discrete? This is all connected lines, so this graph is continuous. All right, let's take a look at the next example. All right, a plane takes off and climbs steadily for 30 minutes until it reaches 20,000 feet. It travels at the altitude for 2 hours until it begins to descend, at which it takes 15 minutes at a constant rate. Determine the domain and range. Now, domain is x, which is here, and range is y, which is here. Domain is from left to right, and range is from bottom to top. So let's look at the domain first. So the domain starts at 0, and if we go to the right, it ends at 165. Now the range is from bottom to top. So the bottom starts at 0, and the top looks like it's 20,000 feet. All right, go ahead and finish up example 3. All right. A contestant on a game show is given $150 and asked 5 questions. The contestant loses $30 for every wrong answer. Draw a graph of the situation. Okay? Now, if they get 0 wrong, they get $150. Okay? That's 0 wrong. Okay? Now, if they get 1 wrong, they lose $30. So 150 minus 30 is 120. So that's 1 wrong. Okay, now if they get 2 wrong, that's minus 60. So that's 90. That's 2 wrong. All right, 3 wrong, another 30. So now that's Okay, and then another 30, which is 4 wrong. And then minus 30 again. That's 5 wrong. All right, go ahead and finish up example 4. All right, let's take a look at example 5. All right, a contestant on the game show is given $250 and asks 5 questions. The contestant loses $50 for every wrong answer. Determine the domain and range. Now, the domain is X, and the range is Y. Now, we need to write down each of the points. So the first point is 0 to 50. The next point is 1, 200. And then 2, 150. 3, 100. 4, 50. And 5, 0. All right. Now, the domain is all whole numbers from 0 to 5. You always list the numbers from smallest to greatest. Okay. Now, the range is multiples of 50, and that's from 0 to 250. All right, go ahead and finish up example 5. All right, and I believe that's all the examples. So go ahead and finish it up, start working on your assignment, and have a wonderful Wildcat day.